Next, we move on to redox speciation. So the redox process that are happening is oxidation of iron 2 by oxygen or hydrogen peroxide, oxidation of copper 1 by oxygen and hydrogen peroxide. So these are all the reactions. So in the ocean acidification results in the reduced species, basically Fe2 plus and copper 1. So this may result in the increased bioavailability of both these elements, particularly in the case of iron, as iron 2 is significantly more soluble than the oxidized form Fe3+. So in other words, when the ocean acidification actually takes place, one of the species exists as the major one. Low pH and low oxygen leads to higher fluxes of redox sensitive metals, especially iron, manganese and cobalt, and nutrients from the sediment to the water column. So there is a flux. Flux means change from one place to another place. So that is what is transportation of these species actually takes place. That is what is the flux. Let us look at the ocean redox chemistry. The overview or basically the definition is the study of oxidation reduction reactions in the ocean is what is called as a ocean redox chemistry. What are the key components? We saw about the oxygen, nitrogen species, iron and sulfur species. So these are all the main participants in the ocean redox chemistry. How do they influence the Arctic? Basically, they affect the nutrient cycling. That means the redox reactions affect the availability of nutrients. And when we talk about the geochemical cycles, they influence the influence on carbon and nitrogen cycle. And what is the impact on the marine life? The redox conditions affect the habitat suitability for marine organisms. So this is what is the change that will happen. And how do we know that? When there is a change in the oxygen level, the decreasing oxygen level leads to hypoxia in some Arctic regions. And nutrient concentration, when there is a change, especially nitrate and ammonium level, that is being observed. And how do we know that all these changes are happening? So we actually use tools and methods to find it out. One is the water sampling. So here, collection of water samples for laboratory analysis leads to our understanding of what is the redox chemistry that is happening. In situ sensors can be used, which are mainly for oxygen or redox potential probes, or we can also use the remote sensing satellite images for understanding what is the changes that are happening. And the overall methods of study includes three major types. One is the field studies or remote sensing or climate modeling. These are all the three major areas where scientists are actually carrying out various research to understand how the ocean redox chemistry is happening. In the field studies, people use water column sampling. So here, profiling of water columns for redox sensitive species, people will do the analysis. Or sediment core analysis, here the scientists study about the past redox conditions through sediment layers. And remote sensing can be used for monitoring the surface conditions and chlorophyll levels. There are various research reports which are explaining about how the chlorophyll formation can be measured using the remote sensing. And here satellites are basically used. And in the climate modeling, the simulation of future redox conditions under various climate scenarios can be carried out. For example, currently if the pH is around 8.1, so what will happen if the pH changes to 8.0, or what will happen if the pH changes to 7.9? So these kind of predictions can be carried out using the climate models. Let us focus on the Arctic region. So here we will look at the Arctic and the dissolved organic carbon. Low temperature and high salinity, because if the salinity is over 35, these are very productive conditions for biological communities, which leads to increase in the terrigenous dissolved organic carbon. So this is what it will increase the amount of carbon that is present in the aqueous conditions or in the seawater. Due to the increasing temperature, that is the Arctic amplification, the increase in freshwater discharge, that is ice water melt or glacier melt, leads more water to the Arctic Ocean, and this is expected to potentially result in the greater riverine export of terrigenous organic carbon to the ocean. The freshwater discharge from Arctic rivers has a residence time of 5 to 15 years in the surface waters. So the ions that are present in the water can be changed by the change of ocean pH. The surface water of the Arctic Ocean are stratified and they have the highest concentration of terrigenous dissolved organic carbon of any ocean basin. And we also have the photooxidation of the dissolved organic carbon. This is a very important reaction. Here the natural dissolved organic carbon undergoes photochemical oxidation to produce carbon monoxide and dissolved inorganic carbon. So this is the chemical reaction that may be happening. This leads to increasing the pH of water, and there is a slight decrease in the dissolved inorganic carbon formation rates. Initially, the dissolved inorganic carbon photochemical production rates were very higher than those measured after prolonged exposure. So this carbon monoxide photoproduction remains relatively constant even after significant bleaching. So these are all the chemical changes that are happening. The efficient photodecarboxylation reactions occur with certain low molecular weight carboxylic acid and metal organic complexes. So these are all we had seen earlier, because these metal organic species are easily affected by the change in the pH. The photochemical fading and the photoproduction of DIC and carbon monoxide from terrestrial derived DOC is a very important process which operates on a time scale that is relevant to model the carbon cycling that is happening in the coastal ocean.